Yo, I think tipping culture has gotten way too far. So I took my girlfriend out on a nice date today. We went to some mall and got some coffee. So we get some coffee. Have my coffee light and sweet. This is the first thing we get. For a fucking coffee, right? So I'm like, all right, whatever. This must be like a one-time thing, you know? It's this coffee place, I guess they do a little more than coffee and they expect a tip out of you, right? So we go to a fucking Italian place. We get a meatball, 2 chicken parmesans, and it suggests the 18% tip, 20% tip, 22% tip. Now, generally, I will tip at a restaurant only because I know the waiters get paid off tips and they'll usually hire younger people that don't understand that they're kind of getting ripped off. But to assume that anyone's going to pay an 18% tip is outrageous. Mind you, this guy went to our table twice. We were out of water, the food wasn't great, and they expect a 18, 20, 22% tip. Tipping has gotten way too far, and I think it's a problem. So, I found a tip subreddit because I was so mad. I wanted to see if I was the only person going through this. The tipping from the car rental. I was wondering if you have to tip the driver from the car rental that picks you up from the airport and drives you to their office. I mean, in a situation like that, yeah, I would tip. I would tip. Like, if the person actually goes out of their way and does a really good job, assuming that's the case, I will tip. Like, at my job, like, I work in a hardware store, so, like, we help with, like, pretty much anything. Like, someone will bring a table in, I'll fix a table leg, and sometimes they'll, like, try to slip me $1 or $2 or something like that, which is cool. I mean, you're showing that you're grateful for me going that extra mile for you. That's fine. So this is where we are now. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm dealing with. 20%, 22%, 24%. You spend 24% of what you spent as a tip. Maybe the issue is restaurants need to pay their waiters better and not expect the consumer to pay their salary. Tipping on furniture delivery. I'm getting a couch delivered with the white glove delivery option. They bring the couch in and put it together. I figured I should tip them and Google what's a standard. 15 to 20% of the total cost. I'm pretty blown away when I read that because I'm sorry, there's no way I was going to tip these guys $600. My girlfriend and I saved a long time. I would give them $50. Like, I would still tip in a situation like that. Tipping has gone crazy and made me become a non-tipper. So I started tipping as of 2024 because people feel entitled rather than grateful. I went to Bangkok Cuisine in Forest Hills, New York, and the food was mediocre. The service was nothing more than bringing my food. A lady showed me to my seat, brought me the menu, and asked me once if there's anything else I need. A guy served my food. The bill came and I signed it and wrote in the bill total without a tip. The lady came back and showed me the bill total and the suggested tip. I told her I wrote in the right amount and I'm not tipping. She got furious and acted like I took money from her. I don't care. I'm not ashamed. Please share your thoughts. I mean, yeah, if you're getting bad service at a restaurant, do not tip. That's just a waste of money. Tipping should be an option. It shouldn't have to be forced on people. That's the part I think that has gone too far, is that it's expected of people now. Tipping is always an add-on. It should never be mandated, right? Or shamed. Beware included tips. At LGA's new Tattle Noodle Bar, every receipt has a tip charge, but if you ask for a receipt, the tip disappears into your other food items. The receipt they give at the end has a tip option as if it already wasn't in the price. My $5 tip was already in my original receipt. My drink charge got charged. I'm now going to keep a photo whenever I see these tipping charges. Yeah, so when you want to cross-reference with the menu just to be sure, like that's a good thing too. Like if they put like a waiter charge, it wouldn't bother me as much. It really wouldn't. If in the receipt it was like, oh, we gave the waiter $5 or $10 for helping you instead of mandating a 20% tip, I feel like that comes across a lot better. Oh, this is good. As seen at the self-checkout kiosk. I've seen this before. And it's like, yeah, so I charge. So who gets the tip? Does the machine get the tip? Obviously not. So it goes straight to the company. So that's just a scam. Thank you for your generosity. Yeah, see, it's pretty much just asking for free money because how do you know which person cleaned which room? Again, you're just keeping the money. How much should I tip for the delivery of a pizza? Like, I do tip delivery drivers. I think that's fair. I don't know. It's such a wishy-washy thing. For it to be assumed pisses me off. But if it's like the norm, it doesn't. It's very weird. Opinion on tipping with a mandatory employee benefit fee of 3%. Employee mandates 3%. That wouldn't bother me. Because at least you know you're not responsible for their pay. Am I wrong? Please feel free to downvote if you feel so inclined. It's like a reward. But my rules are tipping are as follows: never fast food, coffee shops. Hold on, let's read this right. Fast food drive-through, large chain restaurants, certain establishments, depending on service, coffee shops, places tipping is done through a shitty kiosk. Always out of respect. Some of the following I know on a first name basis: fishing boats aid business, taxi cab services, electric repair, 7-Eleven employee who is mad chill. Always tip change plus $10. You won't tip fast food workers, but you'll tip a 7-Eleven worker. Like it's a way of showing you're grateful. So like if somebody comes into your house and they fix like an electricity thing or plumbing thing, I would feel obligated to tip. Simple math shows how ridiculous the US tip system is. A few years ago, a burger in a bar was $12 and a $15 tip was normal, and that was $1.80. Now a burger is 18% and the server expects 20%, which is $3.60. So I'm supposed to pay the server twice as much for an item that only went up 50%. That's a good point too, because if food goes up, your tip goes up. I don't do the math where it's like, oh, you should tip someone 8%. You get tipped what I feel like tipping you. So if I think you did a good job, you get a good tip. It's a very interesting situation. Tipping question: subtotal 27, delivery fee 3.99, service fee 4.07, estimated tax. So the breakdown for this is the food costed $27.10. The delivery fee for the driver to go out there is $3.99. The service fee, which is what Uber Eats and like Seamless gets, is $4.07. So technically, yes, I would still tip here, just so the driver gets something. Because Uber Eats drivers and Lyft drivers and all those people really tend to work kind of hard, especially if it's like raining or snowing. I would personally throw a little extra. Will you start tipping at Burger King and supermarkets? It's only a matter of time. Like, yeah, you scan my food so fast. You deserve a tip for this. You saved me so much time. Yeah, no. They'll probably get replaced by robots first before they get tipped. Should you tip the person in your hair salon? Thoughts on whether you should tip the owner if she's the one doing your hair? No, but I have done that. Like the barbershop I used to go to. Obviously, I haven't been to a barbershop in a long time. But the barbershop I used to go to, the owner was the one that cut my hair, and I would tip him. It just out of like the norm of tipping. Here we go. Extremely frustrated at the tipping culture in the US. It's just ridiculous. I went to a restaurant with my friends today. We come from a country which is economically extremely inferior to the US, and people would save money for years to finance education. All my friends are students and unemployed. The servers were decent, not too bad, but not too much good either. The bill came out and we didn't tip because of immigration laws and the fact that students can't work off campus at all. The waiter rushed out, chased me and my friends who had parted ways after dinner. He was extremely rude and started yelling in the middle of the street. I paid the gratuity of 18% and called it a day. However, I felt it to be largely embarrassing. For starters, students don't make much money until they can find a legal job. Anything illegal is obviously completely off the table for us. We put in the savings and come here on heavy loans which are never paid by the government because we aren't citizens. So fighting the turbulent tides of the market, we somehow end up finding a job yet being ridiculed for not tipping. Mind you, we paid the bill. Felt unacceptable. I believe restaurants should pay their staff enough for them not to go chasing people for tips. Any logical person would laugh at the notion of people with zero income being ridiculed and shamed in front of people at least making some money. I am terribly appalled at the audacity of the staff and the compulsive nature of tipping. I thought tips are supposed to be good practices to appreciate a good quality of service. From there being a norm and then a compulsion is beyond me. Yeah, I agree 100%. Like, if you don't have the money to tip, you should not feel obligated to tip. Like, I will tip because I know I can afford to tip. There's been situations in my life I couldn't afford to tip, so I didn't. I'm not going to give someone the money I don't have for service that's expected, right? So the fact that it's, and I've said this like 10 times already, it's assumed in this job market to do this is completely unacceptable. But honestly, with all the tip pushing, and I said it to my girlfriend like 10 times today, like I'm so tired of tipping. Like the fact that it's expected everywhere is just such a big problem. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you guys have had tipping stories, what do you think about tipping? Are you someone who works off tipping? Like I would never be a waiter because I understand my money is finicky. So if you're a waiter, it's like no disrespect, I just wouldn't do it. Even if you're in a big restaurant, either you make some money, no money, or a lot of money. So I don't know. Yeah, it's on my mind. I just want to rant. So see ya.